Economics and politics are the foundation of human development.
While forming the world's earliest civilizations, Africans also laid the groundwork for the creation of economic systems.
By learning from our history, we gain the strength to empower the present and design the future. Presenting the premier forum for truth, culture, and change. HAPI Talks. Join us as we unlock the secrets to our success.
Peace, peace, and more peace, happy family. What's going on today? We got a good show coming up. We got my brother Mfundishi Jhutyms coming on, gonna grace us with their presence, with his presence. What's up, Fee?
What's up?
How you?
Good. You know, I love some Mfundishi.
Yeah, for sure. He's our regular. He's a happy regular. But before we do that, let's the same particulars as we do every week, every show, which is very important. Like, share, comment on this video. Very important. Subscribe also. You have to subscribe. Help us get to 40K. All right. We almost there. I think we creeping up on 38,000 or something like that, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna check. Check.
I think we creeping up on 30,000.
Yeah, last show we was at like 37,800 exactly, gotcha. Which was like, I was like, wow, that's like an exact number. But yeah, I'm gonna check. Yeah,
that's why it's important to share. You know, share the video to get it out to new people that's not familiar with us. All right.
Absolutely.
Check out our clearance sale on our Happy Gear. You see, I got mine on.
Yeah, right here. Nubia.
Help us out, with the clearance sale so we can get some new inventory in, put that up on the website. Just go to hopifilm.com, check that out. Also, go to when you get to the website, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. All right. Important to sign up for that newsletter. Newsletter is very informative. I know I sound repetitive, but it is very informative. We have some great resources, and we got a couple of new people that's going to be doing some articles and doing some good things for the website as well.
All right? like your financial brother that was just on last.
In Webe. It was last week. Yeah. In Webe. Yeah. He's going to be doing some good things. Actually, he's going to be coming back on the show, doing some more financial things, talk about his book, give us a couple of pointers, a couple of strategies. But we'll brief y'all on that another time. Check out our HAPI Film also on Amazon Prime, Quayle TV, and Tubi. All right. And anything else you want to? Oh, our Cash App. Check out our Cash App.
Yes, that's how we keep going. The Cash App is how we keep going, family.
Yeah.
We just 100 with you.
Definitely. Like, we ain't trying to front, but that Cash App is really important. That's what helps us out, with a lot of different things. It could be something as simple as transportation, transporting, different guests to the studio. Everything costs. Every single thing costs. I'm sure y'all aware of that.
Yeah. And it's part of, and it's also part of the movement, right? Like there's some movements that we can't physically do stuff for, but we give money to. There's lots of organizations that I donate money to because it's helping them, because I trust who they are and how they're going to use the money. So when I give it to them, I know that it's going to be for the mission of the organization that I am, subscribing to, the organization that I belong to. So it's just kind of, it's part, when you're Black, this is stuff you have to do. It is what it is. If you're Black and you are subscribed to us, there's some type of way that you have to help with the survival and the growth of the Happy movement. And one way is definitely the Cash App. But if you can't get us on the Cash App, you have to make sure you're subscribed and you hit the notifications button, and that you actually open the newsletter, you actually see the shows, and you make comments, because the comments is what keeps the show in the algorithm. Yeah. And then sending it to people. There's so many people, like shout out to one of our elders, John Henry Staples, his niece, I believe. And we forgot to say this at our last show, because I mean, that history was great last show. But she was all up in there. She's like, oh, I only know this because of my uncle, John Henry Staples. He's like, that's how it was with the lawyer, Nikichi. And she, and so that's what we're talking about. And John, if you guys don't know, John Henry Staples, he is our elder from Riverview, Florida, and he gets on all the time. He's like in his 80s. He's like the same age as Dr. Leonard Jeffries. And so, he's been around, like he knows everybody. And the fact that he is still out there pumping HAPI Film is great. So that's what, so it's so, listen, you can't get us on the Cash App, although we do like when you get us on the Cash App, and it doesn't matter what the amount is, but there's other ways that you can 100% support us. And that's getting the word out, because the information we have, like in a newsletter, and we have all these dope people contributing in Webe and Shaggy. Right. But then we also have Zawena Salim, and she's our new crystallologist. And I'm pretty sure Mfundishi Jhutyms is going to, talk to us a little bit about Zawena. But Zawena is now contributing. Talita Bryant, Gordon, like we got some like heavy hitters that are really about this business. So it's important, that when we send out the emails, that you guys open them, look at them, and send it to somebody. Everybody knows somebody they can send that newsletter to. Seriously.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook as well. Follow us on Instagram also.
Yep, we're on all the platforms. And some of y'all, I see you guys across all the platforms. I'd be like, hey, and we really appreciate that, because that's what keeps HAPI Film out there, and it gets it to more and more people, so that people can look at the film and they can support the movement, support the people who we bring on. If Mfundishi has something special that he's only going to offer people who are actually viewing this particular show. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is why we do what we do, and it's really important that if, when we can, we support and we share the information. Like, we are the ones we've been waiting on. That's another Mfundishi quote. We should have a day where we just do Mfundishi quotes, because I know everybody in the chat has a lot. But yeah, I do want to say, peace to the chat. I mean, everybody, you guys are all up in there, all bright and early. Black Magic Mike, he's like, I'm from Tulsa, I'm here. Like, that's what's up. I see Size in the house. Size traveled with us to Ghana, and which brings me to the next little, our next little order of business is our trip that we got going on.
That's right.
Yeah, right here. 3 signature experiences, 1 sacred journey. 3 signature experiences, 1 sacred journey. Listen, I talked to this one brother. Okay, him and his moms traveled with us a couple of times, Carolyn and Waleed, or Sanefru. And he's like, I'm down. He's like, he's coming. And I was like, yes. And so we have a lot of people that has traveled with us before that's coming back on this trip, which is really exciting. But family, right here. 3 signature experiences, 1 sacred journey. So we are traveling HAPI along with HAPI Tours. We are traveling August 20th to September 1st. Now, there's lots of variations. We got 3. The first one you can do is the Senegal, Ghana, and Togo trip. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's from August 20th to August 30th. And Hassan's rolling with us too. This is gonna be great. Right. So that's one trip: Senegal, Ghana, and Togo. Then, or you could just do Senegal and Morocco, or you can do all 4 countries: Senegal, Ghana, Togo, and Morocco. But the beautiful thing about this is that it does not matter which trip you're on. You get 2 things. You get 1, you get to hang out with Black History Man, Robin Walker, and you get to party. You get to party with us for my birthday. And
that video you put up, you wow.
You know what? I got, it's so interesting. I got so many little phone calls from people.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
And family, if you haven't seen the video that we're referring to, it's on all of our pages. But we were this was it, I think in I can't remember what year. I think it's 2022.
24. No, that was 24.
24.
Yeah. We was on a cruise ship.
We was on a cruise, getting down.
Yeah.
Getting down. And if you see, listen, I'm gonna be sending some more little pictures because I got Hassan getting down too.
Oh gosh.
Yep, everybody was getting down on this trip. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do, is that it's like, yes, we're giving you history, but then we're also giving you a good time, and good people are, good people around you. So yeah, this is gonna be cool. And you're gonna be going down the Soul Train line, because you can't go to Africa without going down the Soul Train line. I think that's gonna be our new rule. Wow, Michael, you and I had the same birthday, 8/27. Listen, Michael, you need to be on this trip with us too. But yeah, shout out to everybody. And I see Regina Cobb. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. We're going to bring in Mfundishi Jhutyms. And you have to make sure you say his whole name, because there's other Mfundishis, and he specifically yelled at me online because I was like, Mfundishi, like he was my good friend, even though he is my good friend. But you have to say Mfundishi Jhutyms.
Yes, definitely. You have to say it.
Yes. But shout out to Regina. Regina brought like 20 people with her from her church in Detroit. What up, though? So yeah, I see her. She's up in the chat. So yeah, family. Oh, Shago. Yeah, Shago. Thank you. Yes. Rest in power, Bob Law. And you know what? I'm gonna I think I'm pretty sure Mfundishi knows him, and he can give us some words about him. That's one elder that I did not know. But I was shocked when I saw it up on Facebook. So we will get some words from Mfundishi about the elder Bob Law. So I think we are good. Yes, race first. I see somebody in there. You know what? I love this chat. All right, family. So listen, last thing of the trip: three signature experiences, but one sacred journey. Senegal, Morocco, Togo, and Ghana. Here it is. And everything, the price that you see when you go to our website, everything is inclusive. That's your flight from the United States to Africa, our flights in Africa. It's the hotels, it's the food, all the entrance fees to everything that we go to, air-conditioned buses. Let's see, what else? It includes everything. The only thing you have to pay for is your visa and your and tips. That's it.
Yep.
All right.
There it is.
There it is.
All right. So let's bring in the Grandmaster Mfundishi Jhutyms.
Oh, oops, I'm sorry. Hey, Mfundishi.
Peace, brother.
Imhotep, Uncle Ujasaneb Neb.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with the African family and HAPI.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what, you know what? You're just saying that like you're not part of HAPI. Like you're literally you're in like 2 out of the 3 films that we've made. So it's like what's good. It's nice seeing you, Mfundishi Jhutyms. Very nice seeing you. Wow, somebody was in there was like, where's Mfundishi? I was like, okay, he coming.
They can't wait, right? They can't wait.
Yeah. So Mfundishi Jhutyms, did you know Bob Law?
Yeah, I knew Bob Law. Yeah. Dynamic brother. In fact, he is the one. You've heard me say this comment. I got this from Bob Law. He says, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike Europeans, because some of my friends have friends who have friends with Europeans, and I don't have a problem with them. I got that saying from Bob Law.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's the first person I heard say that. Yeah, I said okay, and I told him to his face. I said, I'm stealing that. He said, no, bro, it's not mine. I got it from somebody else.
That's hilarious. Wow. Yeah, I mean, he's lived a long life. I think he was 80. 83, I believe.
Mhm.
I think I seen that he was 83 years old.
Yeah.
There is a memorial service for him this coming week that you can see online. Uh, you know, if you can't get to, I don't know where the actual memorial service will be, but he was 86. I mean, we should have Shago come on here and talk. Shago knows everything. That's what's up, Shago. Yes, he was 86 years old, and he's going to. There is a memorial service in between. I'll try to find it on Facebook to put the link into the chat for everyone if you know if you're interested in seeing that. Yeah.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about from crops in consciousness, right? And the spiritual foundation of wealth. So we just want to start off with the foundation. What do you consider wealth to be?
Wealth is how, first of all, wealth is energy.
Mm.
And those who can use the energy are wealthy. Those who do not know how to manipulate energy are not wealthy. It's simple as that. So the more conscious you can become, the more you can use and manipulate and become with energy, the wealthier you can become, because you're becoming one with all, one with the creator, one with spirit. And so I need people to understand that. If you're disconnected from wealth and always having a bad time, it's because you're disconnected probably from yourself and the source of all energy. So the more you tap into this energy stream, and the more you associate yourself with people who are attached to this energy stream, because we're all one with different consciousness, different awarenesses. So you also want to be around people who are aware of wealth and consciousness. So if you, there's a, people who are into economics will tell you, if you take your best 5 friends and add up how much money they make and then divide it by 5, that's how much you make. So
wait, say that one more time. Say that again.
If you take your 5 friends and divide it by 5, that's how much you make, because you are a product of who you around.
Gotcha.
So if you say, "Oh, I'm the smartest person in the group," then you're in the wrong group. You know, that's not a high vibration. If you think you're the smartest person in your group, then you need to change groups. And so wealth is consciousness and spirit and how we use it and how we, in fact, in Kemet, the wealthier you are, the more responsibility you have to take care of those who are not wealthy. In fact, in the book of Ptah, it said that if a poor man owes a wealthy man a large sums of money, he should divide it in 4 and dismiss 3/4 of it and only charge him the 1/4. So that he won't be known for being greedy, he'll be known for being generous. That's what wealth is about.
Gotcha.
That's how wealth is used.
So basically you're saying wealth is energy, so it's spiritual. So by you getting your spiritual together, you can ultimately bring in the tangible.
Yes.
Got it.
You manifest it.
Yes. Yes.
So
so what would you say goes into getting your spiritual together and your wealth to then bring in the tangible, you know, whatever that tangible is pertaining to wealth?
Well, see, initially the tangible things were not just luxury things. The tangible things were practical things that help you facilitate this energy to help it vibrate even more. Okay. So I don't want to live in a hut when I can have a larger, so I can take care of more people. I don't want to have a little plot when I can have a large farm that can feed multitudes of people. That's wealth. That's energy. See, so you're using the energy to facilitate more energy. And so that's the whole concept of why you would want to even accumulate wealth. You don't want to accumulate wealth just to say I'm rich, or just to say, you know, just as a profile. You're doing it so that you could be a servant of the people. In fact, a priest from the Kemetic spiritual perspective, is a servant of the people.
Yep.
That's the definition. I know because of slavery, we got a bad connotation of the servant. Oh man, I ain't no servant. No, that was the highest thing, to serve, to serve the people. And so, and those who were the wealthiest were the ones who could serve the people the best. So I know because of our enslavement in the Western world, we have a negative connotation. Even in the word Kemet, a high priest is a him sepi. That high means the highest servant.
So was wealth always tied to spirituality in African civilizations?
Traditionally, yes. I know some people get wealthy who are not spiritual, but they have to be connected to somebody who was spiritual at some point. Because see, energy doesn't understand good and bad. Energy just is. So a person can get wealthy, but you usually will find that a person who has a bad karma, they said a fool and his enemy, a fool and his money will soon part. So he might start out. That's why even today, people who hit the lottery, 90% of people, if you track them from 5 to 10 years, they're broke and actually in more debt than they was before they hit the lottery. And I'm talking about millions of dollars, because they haven't attracted that energy. They just received it and they don't know how to facilitate it. And they haven't surrounded themselves with, they still got their homeboys out partying. Yo, they all got brand new cars, and then they broke. Because they didn't even surround themselves with a higher energy.
So you know what? Okay, so let's go back for a moment. When you're talking about this this idea of energy and using energy to kind of bring in what you want. So how does one recognize like the energy that they have, and then how do they vibrate on a higher level to attract the stuff that they want?
Well, the ancients have something called meditation and prayer, or what we call to meditate is to listen to the creator within. So right now, I take you on a small journey here so that you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. I want you to just close your eyes for a second, and I want you to say, I am great to yourself without using your voice. Okay, now open your eyes. Did you hear yourself say, I am great inside? So you didn't use your voice. So whose voice was that? You didn't use your outer ears. So whose ears? How did you hear yourself say, I am great?
Yeah.
So you are you are both. You are the creator and the receiver of your own domain.
Yeah.
So you can manifest and bring things into fruition. You are a mini creator.
Yes.
That's when we say we're nature-like. We can take visions in our mind and then bring them to fruition from a concept. So everything starts from a concept, of energy. The creator is a mind, a consciousness, and we are all part of that consciousness. We're participating in that consciousness.
So we're the micro of the creator.
Yes, you are part of that. You're not separate from it.
Yes.
It's not like God made a pizza and it's outside of you.
Yeah.
Okay, and no, you are part of it. You are living. Now, let me say this. Even if you're not aware, it's still a fact. It's just that if you're not aware, that means you can't use it to your advantage. Therefore, you're probably destined to be broke. You're destined to be unwealthy because you don't realize you are the wealth.
Yes.
Your consciousness is here.
Yes.
So when you are not thinking unlimited, you limit yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why, that's why we say, you heard me in another one of our topics. I talked about the power of water. Water holds more compound memory than any other compound mineral on the planet Earth. Water holds memory. So when you talk to yourself, your voice creates spells. Words are spells. Spells direct energy the way you want it to go. As I put a spell on you, that means I'm controlling your energy force. Okay, so now when you speak, you are actually controlling the water within you. You're 70% water approximately. So when I speak, the water inside of me is vibrating on that energy. So if I'm using a whole bunch of cuss words and foul, low energy, then I'm going to be foul and low energy inside. So watch this here. You cussing somebody else out and think that they're going to be feeling bad. What's really happening by you cussing somebody else out, that's like drinking poison and expecting them to die. What you're doing, and that's coming back to you.
Yeah.
All that low vibration, you're the one going to have a heart attack, and they going to a party tonight.
Yeah.
but you feeling all bad and cussing them out, using all these low vibration words, you're lowering your vibration. That's why the elders say you don't argue with a fool. Fool tells you, "Oh man, you stupid." You just say, "Yeah, you're right." That's why people be saying, "Oh, can't nobody speak to Medu Neter?" I go, "Yeah, right, you can." And I just keep moving, Meanwhile, we translate the Medu Neter, okay? So I'm not going to argue with somebody about what can't be done that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's in general, people. Don't argue with a fool. Don't get it. That's why you'll hear me on some of them programs. You'll never hear Mfundishi in a debate. I came here to teach. Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, they taught me how to teach. So that's what I do. I teach.
Yeah. It's so funny that you're saying this, because those actually, family, if you've been following us on any of our platforms, we actually put those clips up when Mfundishi goes into much detail, more detail about the using our words as spells and how to just the creator is in you,
Yes. And so let me give people just a couple quotes here. Knowledge comes from learning. Wisdom comes from living what you learn. We have a lot of people just collect knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge comes from learning, and wisdom comes from using what you learn by living. That's why they'll tell you that the journey is just as important as the final goal.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because you're learning all these things on the process of reaching your goal.
Yep.
So, we have to, we have to make sure we put things in their proper perspective.
Yeah, that journey is very important. Let me just go back real quick. You said that energy doesn't know good or bad.
Right. It just is. Because think about it. Good or bad is a cultural perspective. What might be good in one culture is bad in another culture.
Yes.
In America, you can only have one wife. Other than that, you look down upon. In another culture, you might have 2 or 3 wives, or a woman might have 2 or 3 husbands. And that's not, they're wealthy and they're supposed to be sharing that. And that's good in their society. In fact, if you were wealthy in those societies and only had one mate, they considered you selfish. You're not sharing your wealth with the community, with the people, with other families.
Got it.
So good and bad is relative.
Yeah.
So energy is just a state. That is what it is. What it is. That's what we say.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yes. I think you need to put a disclaimer out there when you talk about multiple wives with some of us out there, because.
No, I'm just saying that from culture to culture, good and bad varies.
Yeah, because we wanting multiple women, but that comes with something, So as far as power is concerned, when you're obtaining this wealth, right? So shouldn't our consciousness be right and exact in order to have certain powers? Because if your consciousness is not right, then you know, your power, you're going to be misusing your power. Like we see that today.
Yeah. That's because you didn't get the proper education
Mm.
to get your power. You see, you always hear me say, I think every show I've said this, we are all visitors here because we're all part of the Creator manifesting ourselves in a physical form.
Yes.
So you come here to learn,
Yeah.
to study, to share. So that's what we're doing here. We're sharing, right? Some of us teach, but not all of us are teachers, but we all can share. We come to love.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person you have to love, which is the Creator, which is yourself.
Yeah.
Self-love, go into family love, go into friendship love, go into personal love, and then eventually love for your people. Okay. And then you are to perfect your gift. Everyone on the planet is given a gift at birth.
Mm.
Perfect your gift and give your gift back to the world. Then you return home. That's why in ancient Africa, or in traditional ancient Africa, it was so important for a person to have a title, an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a title as an adult, that means you have accomplished something. You are fulfilling your purpose here. And everybody is on a journey.
Yeah.
So when you accomplish a title, that means that you have perfected part of your gift. Now your job is to give your gift to the world and then return back home. That's the complete journey. See? So if you understand what your gift is, and everybody doesn't, that's why sometimes you have priests and spiritual healers to help you understand your gift. And sometimes we get our gifts confused with our talents or our skills. They're not necessarily the same. You know, I use the Muhammad Ali thing. Muhammad Ali became one of the greatest boxers of all times, but that was his skill. His talent was he became an ambassador. He had the most recognized face on the planet, like Michael Jackson. He used his music as an instrument to facilitate other things. So he used because think, all right, you're a pro athlete. I mean, come on, after 35 or 40, your pro athlete is gone. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Hopefully, your skills that you use to become famous now, you can use that to facilitate who you really are. Who is the woman and who is the man behind that, those skills and your sport? Those are your skills. Now you were sent here to make a change. But because of the skills you have, now people will listen to you. And now you can present change. You can be an ambassador. Your face is recognized. People just welcome you in. You notice how when you become a celebrity, people just believe anything you say.
Yeah.
No matter how backwards it is, we're the only people that have celebrities speak for us. Jews don't have celebrities speak. No Jewish singer is speaking for Jewish people. No Italian singer, the Rat Trap, they weren't people for the Italians. No, only Black people who have been programmed by somebody else want foolish people to be their spokesperson. Somebody who don't. I remember I hear one of the comedians talk about something that was important and happened, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna flash to Ja Rule and see what Ja Rule thinks about this." He's like, Ja Rule might not understand this whole. I don't care what Ja Rule is thinking, but because he's a celebrity, we want to know what Ja Rule thinks about what's going on.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I want to hear a little Ja Rule song on the dance floor. Yeah, I want to hear a little Ja Rule's song on the dance floor, but definitely not, giving a lecture. So what, Mfundishi, so when a lot of because I had to make sure that I have in family, if you don't have this book, this is just like a staple. This should be in everybody's library of books. This is Spiritual Warriors and Healers by Mfundishi Jhutyms. Like this is like a standard book everybody should have. But I want you to talk a little bit about like what did the practice of spirituality or spirituality look like in ancient Kemet versus like what it looks like now?
Okay.
Like what are some things that they used to do?
Okay, the further you go back in time, the more profound our spirituality was. So I'll say that again. The further you go back in time, the greater our spirituality. Let me just take, at the beginning of ancient Kemet, about 6,000 years ago, they had already lost wonders of the world that couldn't be duplicated again.
Mm-hmm.
Because they, even though they were dynamic, they had lost some contact with nature as they began to develop cities, states, and stuff like that. You begin to separate yourself a little bit from nature. So the closer you are to nature, the greater your technological and scientific and spiritual mind. Because spirituality is to be in spirit. Spirit is the creator, to be in the creator, to be the creator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so you are one with nature. If you have a garden and your plant don't grow, you don't fix the plant, you fix the conditions in which the plant is growing in.
Yeah.
So when your spirituality is bankrupt, you can't fix the person. You fix first the environment that's going to help that person grow.
Mm.
I remember people used to tell my mother, oh, Bertha, you got a green thumb. She said, no, I got a black thumb, sweetie. All I do is help create the environment so that the creator does his thing.
Yeah.
Y'all understand that? So when you got children whose minds is messed up, it's not their fault. It was the environment that wasn't conducive for growth.
Mm.
So when you cultivate, spirituality is about cultivation. That's what love is about. Let me just say something. So people will get this love and like. I want you to understand this. If you see if you see flowers and you say, oh man, I really like those flowers. You're subject to cut them, stick them in a bowl, and put them on your dinner table because you just like them. But they're going to die in about a week or 2 days because you just like them. But if you love them, you would never cut them. You would be out there watering them and talking to them and planting them and cultivating them. And that's the way it is with a relationship. We like somebody, we want to possess them. That's like cutting the plant. If you love them, you want to cultivate that relationship. That's why in the Medu Neter, the word for love and like is mer. I want to cultivate our relationship. Just like you cultivate a farm. You can't fall into a cultivated farm. That's hard work. So cultivation is hard work. So you have to understand, you meet someone. Now you have to prepare the soil. You got a farm. You see, all right, this is good land for a farm. That's the same thing. I see a beautiful woman. Okay, this is a good place to plant a family. Okay, just like the farmer sees the land, right? So now you got to go cultivate the land. That's you whining and dining the person. You're getting to know them, right? Then the farmer digs the land up and puts the seeds in. You commencate your marriage or you commencate your relationship. You have sex. That's putting the seed in. Now the child is growing. Now you have to weed and water to make sure the plant comes up correctly. I take all the weeds out. So by getting rid of the little bad kids from around your child might be weeding. Send them to the right school so they get the right education is weed, though. I'm not sending them to that school. You weeding them. I'm making sure they go to grandma's house so they have a relationship with their grandparents and stuff like that. That's cultivation. I'm going to put them around the elders so that they can learn the old ways along with the new ways. And so they have a relationship with the old and the new. So that's cultivation. Now you begin to home in, what is the strong points of my child? I want to help cultivate their skills. So I'm going to teach them music. I'm going to expose them to sports. I'm going to expose them to the finer things in life. I'm going to take them on vacation. I'm taking them to the museum because it's my responsibility as the farmer to cultivate my crop. Do y'all see this relationship of nature? So now when you look at ancient Kemet, that was spirituality in practice. See, it's not a theory.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be one with nature and trying to manifest and duplicate nature at its finest, at its best. So the higher your spirituality, the more in tune you are with nature. You know what foods to eat and what foods not to eat. You know not to eat so much. By eating 3 meals a day, you probably shorten your life by 20 years.
Yeah.
The ancients, the less you eat, the better off you'll be. In fact, food is the reason for almost every illness we have. Change your food, go on a water fast, and you'll find out that if you had rash, it's gone. If you have diabetes, it's gone. You know, because if you're feeding, you're feeding your disease by the food that you eat and the choices that you do. So spirituality, high consciousness, tune yourself with nature. Like right now, Felicia and Hassan, they're finding out all of these things underneath the pyramids, that 2 miles underneath the pyramids, there's other temples and stuff.
Wow.
Now, that had to have been done thousands of years before Kemet came into existence.
Yeah.
We can't do that today. So the further back we go, the closer we were to nature, the more dynamic we became. Like, for example, after the 4th dynasty, they couldn't build pyramids like that anymore. The 5th dynasty pyramids all collapsed.
Yeah.
6, 7, and 8. By the time you get to the new period, the 18th, 19th, they didn't even build pyramids no more.
Yeah.
Those bowls that they found in the step pyramids, made from diorite, perfect bowls, 1/8 of an inch thick all the way around, perfect symmetry. They couldn't do that anymore, even by the middle period of ancient Kemet. So and
that's due to getting away from nature?
Getting away from nature. The further you get away from nature, the further you get away from spiritualities. So, Felicia, that's the answer right there. The further you are away from understanding nature, the further you are away from understanding spirituality. That's why people are religious today. Religion has nothing to do with nature or spirituality. Religion is to control and to bind and to have a predictability of a people's behavior so that I can control them. So as Africa is coming together with operational unity, being able to control their own resources, at some point, Islam and Christianity got to go because both of them are anti-African culture. Culture is your medicine. Culture is how you relate to nature and how you identify with nature. And so I need people to understand Kemet is the mouthpiece of the African continent. What we see in South Africa is in Kemet. What we see in Central Africa is in Kemet. What we saw that was in Green Sahara, Western Africa, is in Kemet. Kemet became the depository of all this information, and they recorded it in stone. So it couldn't be erased. And so that from now on, and this is why I'm such a component of the Medu Neter, is because our ancestors knew we would be at this point where we had cultural amnesia.
Yeah.
Cultural amnesia. If you're a good Christian, you got cultural amnesia. If you're a good Muslim, you got cultural amnesia because you forgot the source of where you come from, the source that created math, science, technology, astronomy, astrology. The source that created all of technology came from imitating and being one with nature, not religion. So the further we get from nature, the further we get from spirituality. And at some point, we're going to have to do that. First, I like the idea of least operational unity, control your own resources. So that's what we're beginning to do, getting the exploiter off of our backs, out of our land. But now we got to get him out of our mind.
Yeah.
And that's the most difficult thing. Because guess what? Right now here in the so-called 21st century, they still control our educational institutes. I've been a component of African studies since it was founded. I was there in the 60s when they created African studies departments. I've been a professor of African studies for over 50 years. And it's a Band-Aid effect where you need a major operation. And I thank the Neter for the Band-Aid, but we need to do better than that.
Yeah.
We need to do better than that. I'm just trying to say, we're the only people that let our enemy, our former colonizer, control our education. European Jews don't allow the Nazis to control their education or other Europeans who don't like them. They control their own schools, and they don't even care if it's right or wrong. It's their culture, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
In fact, right and wrong is irrelevant to them. Is it their culture? If it's not their culture, they don't do it. They don't patronize it.
You know what? I want to ask you about that, Mfundishi. So, Jhutyms. So, you know what? When you're like when we look at like other cultures and like what they do, they have lots of different rituals and stuff like that. And they actually have like money rituals. Like, what are our money rituals? Like from any part of the continent.
All money ritual again has. Remember, I told you that wealth was the use of spirit, the use of vibration and energy, which could be in minerals, it could be in commodities, because see, everything starts out with spirit. Before, you remember I talked about there's the spirit domain, then there's the mineral domain, then there's the plant domain, then there's the animal domain, and then us. So the spirit and then the mineral domain are real sources of the wealth on how you're going to use that plant and the animal domain. So you realize the wealth in this country is coming from the minerals, from things they're getting out of the earth. Remember, spirit is first. Spirit, then mineral, then plant, then animal. Then comes human. And the ability that makes us really human is to be able to utilize all those other entities in our consciousness, because they all come from nature. Animals will teach you how to survive in nature. Plants will give you the substance to survive in nature. Minerals will give you the wealth to survive in nature. And spirit puts you aligned so that you are nature. You are the nature. So you want to be nature-like, you become masters of nature. I used to say my Kupagani and Gumi students, one of my first books was Kupagani and Gumi, root symbols of the Neteru in ancient Kemet, this book right here. So this was one of my first books. I say that if I have a student who becomes a fundi or a teacher, I can drop them off in the desert and come back in 5 years, and they got a swelt, a formula, a university, a civilization thriving. Yeah. Because they got all the skills of how to use. In my book, Spiritual Warriors and Healers, I tell you what are the necessary ingredients to develop a civilization, a culture that's operating on your behalf. And then my latest books, Medu Neter, in volume 1 and 2, I'm showing you how to go through that rites of passage. What does Medu Neter do? Become the leader to found the second golden age, which is the classical period of ancient Kemet, because we understood the formula. Remember, all math, all science, almost everything is based upon African Black thinking, melanin-dominated thinking people. The sun, chlorophyll, let me say this, chlorophyll is to plants as melanin is to human beings and animals. So we take the sunlight and synthesize it into energy. We transmute it, one energy, and transmute it into another. And it allows us to operate on the highest level in a human form. And so if you hate your melanin, remember one of the number one chemicals in Africa was bleaching cream. There's some countries like Uganda and them outlawed bleaching cream in their country now. Yeah. Literally outlawed it, because, and basically it was among the women, because even in Africa, sometimes our standard of beauty is a European standard of beauty. Yeah. And the closer you are to Europeans, straight hair, blonde hair, things that don't look nature-like, natural, then you thought the beauty you become. And our crazy upside down, inside out, backwards men are facilitating that, because the women wouldn't do it if the men weren't attracted to it. So both of us are out of our African minds. Yeah. So if a woman is walking around with some purple green hair, and sometimes purple and green, and some other colors, and you go, "Ooh, baby, that's fine." You're facilitating the backwardness, because if you said what it was, that's crazy. That's anti our culture. But let me say this: in ancient Kemet, we use henna to make hair red and blonde, but it was a culture. We were into the environment. We weren't imitating Europeans. Now we know nothing about those environment. We're not trying to imitate no environment. We're imitating Europeans who are imitating us. So you're imitating imitators. Yeah. And then you wonder why you're jacked up. You're supposed to be jacked up. In fact, it's a blessing, an honor that we are even survive and able to have a HAPI Talks in the conditions we've been through.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, Mfundishi, I'm trying to like synthesize this down into something that all of us can start to do in order to become more spiritual. I mean, and like just to get more, connected with nature, right? Like, maybe you tell us what you do. Like, how do you maintain your
Detach
spirituality?
yourself from things you can't control.
You say it again? What'd you say?
Detach yourself from things you can't control
Mm.
and master those things that you can. So that's what I've done. Each thing, when I was in high school, I wanted to go to college, and I was told that football was the way. So when I graduated, I had 36 scholarships to go to the college of my choice. But I decided to go to a black college, and my white counselor said I was going to a Jungle Bunny school. But that's all right, because in my head, I knew what was best for me.
Yeah.
And even my daughter went to HBS school. So HBS.
Wait. Let's just clear this up. Every time you say HBCU, you give it some other. You be like HCF. I be like, what is you saying? It's the HBCU schools.
Okay. HBCU.
Yes, my kids went there, and so did I. Yes.
So I chose to do that. Okay. I got into wrestling. I became county, district, regional champion. Master what you like. Those things you can control, you become a master at it. Okay. I became a master teacher in Medu Neter. I like that. I know this is important. I master it. When I was in martial arts, I was a master in Kung Fu, 8th degree black belt in Kung Fu, national champion several times. I switched to Kupagani and Gumi because when I was in China, I heard the Chinese master say, I teach Chinese culture. You African, you teach African culture. He didn't have to tell me twice. That was it. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Clark said, you defeat your enemy's culture by practicing your own. Don't badmouth nobody else's stuff. Exalt your own. Practice your own. That's what needs to happen. So that's the formula that I've used, Felicia, is that mastering those things that I can. And I don't worry about those things that I don't have any control of. See,
that's a good
worry doesn't take away the situation. Trouble does not take away the situation. You have to take yourself out of the situation. So you are the key formula. Never look for a scapegoat. Okay. Remember, knowledge is knowing what to say, but it's also wisdom is knowing when to say it and when not to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of people got a whole collection of knowledge. That's why Carter G. Woodson said in 1931, our most educated blacks will be our new enslavers. Because now you're looking up to Dr. Jones, Dr. Smith, and they just been programmed to keep you enslaved. So that's why it's so important for us to take control of our own education.
Yes. Family, make sure you are liking and sharing this video. Mfundishi Jhutyms is on a roll. So come on, make sure you are sharing and you're liking. I'm looking at these likes. I'm like, we got like over 100. We got like over 100.
Think about that. See, children need to be taught how to think, not what to think. Our school system today is symbolic. They're taught what to think as opposed to how to think. They can't do deductive, quantitative, analytical thinking. That's not part of the program. Education is to dumb them down, or they wouldn't be the greatest consumers on the planet. They wouldn't be standing in line to buy $600 Jordan sneakers, and then they in the projects and can't pay rent. You see what I'm saying? You got to know how to think. That's what education is supposed to do. Education is to bring out, not to stuff in. So it's and we in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, we were talking about independent African schools. We're not even talking about that now.
Yeah.
That's not even on the drawing board. We just talk about, we want to learn more Black studies. You know what? I used to do lectures every Black History Month on Black inventions and stuff like that. But then I realized it's not who comes out of the blocks first, it's who finishes the race first. So yeah, you brag about I was the first to do that. But where you at now in the race?
Yeah.
See, I know people don't want to hear that, but yeah, we were the first to do. But where you at now in the race? Did you fag out somewhere along the line? You know what happened? It's who finishes the race. You know, I tell people there's a formula that we need to do. If you're an inventor, a writer, an author, an artist, a scientist, anything that you create, first you should benefit it because that's beneficial to the creator. Then your family should benefit from it. Then friends and your people should benefit from it. Then the community, because the community might be different kinds of ethnic groups who live in your community, but you want to build up your whole community. And then it goes out to the world. But that's the order. Self first. Family. So that means I got a corporation that's making millions of dollars. My nephews, cousins, all of them should have a job. Even if you don't like them, put them in a job where they can't mess up. But you take care of family first. And see, we've been taught not to do that. So we invent something. Sometimes we don't even get paid right. But let me take the traffic light. Garrett Morgan. He created the traffic light, which is now all over the world. General Electric bought it for $50,000. They gave him for the patent. He got the $50,000, probably spent that in 1 year. General Electric split it off into 100 different multi-million-dollar corporations, and Black people do not benefit not one penny from it.
So what did the shift happen, Mfundishi? Like the wealth shift from something, like it seems like before we were more communal with our wealth, right. And then and it was sacred to something that's more individual and material. Like when did that shift?
We're imitating the Wazungu who just came out of the caves yesterday, and who don't know nothing about being blended in with nature. You see, let me say something. I need people to understand this. And remember, I'm not hating on Europeans. Some of my best friends have friends who have European friends, okay? So, and I don't hate on them. Okay, let me just say this here. If you are in a cold, hostile environment, nature isn't necessarily your friend. When the sun come up and it's still 20 below zero, you don't get that excited. Okay? You know what I'm saying? When vegetation might only grow for 1 or 2 months a year, and the rest of the time the almighty hawk is out, you don't have a love affair with nature. When you're in some place like the UK and it's gloomy all the time. I remember the first time I went to UK, I was there for 10 days and never saw the sun. Right. So and that's why one of the highest suicide rates is there, because it's morbid. Yeah. You know, and I remember walking around London, and this one particular day, everybody had a blue suit on. Everybody in the economic district wear this blue, have to wear blue suits, blue jackets. We imitate nature. If you go to Nigeria, you go to Ghana, and you see that the district, he's something to have a yellow suit on, an orange suit. He's something to have all the colors in the rainbow on. Because we were imitating nature. That's the way the flowers are. You've been in the tropical rainforest or the botanical gardens. You see all that. We were imitating nature, so we were in love with all the colors. I remember one time I had a yellow suit, a yellow Grand Booba suit on. I was at the train station in Princeton, and this Black lady came up to me and she said, "Boy, you got a lot of nerve." She said, "Don't get me wrong, you look good, but you got a lot of nerve." Because the Western world don't wear no colors like that. We wear all the colors in the rainbow. That's part of our culture. Okay, you look. Sometimes I can see a Puerto Rican who might look like a white person, but they got all the colors in the rainbow. I said, "Oh no, that person that's not a European." They're tapped into some African culture here. And so culture is your medicine. So now, this person who come from this cold, hostile, he's not trying to share. He's a hoarder. So think about it. If a storm is coming on and they say, you better get groceries. You go to the grocery store, ain't no toilet paper, ain't no so-and-so. Somebody didn't hoarded all of it.
Yeah.
That's that Western concept. We had the Sherry mode.
Mm-hmm.
And they always treated their women subserviently because when you came from an environment where you just can't go out and pick your food, might and strength was important because you had to go kill something to eat. Let me say that again. Versus go watch. They would tell their woman, listen, if you don't listen to me, I'm gonna let that crazy guy next door who want to eat you. I mean, literally eat you. If you don't act right. So you better do everything I say. So I got control of you. And if I tell a sister that in Africa, listen, if you don't act right, I ain't giving you no bananas. She said, I don't get my own bananas. I get my own cooking. I can climb better than you. So we never had that type of relationship with our. We always had a very symmetrical relationship with our women. We understood that we were one, male and female. That's why we do that trinity: the male, the female, the male, female, child. In Kemet, in ancient Europe, they used to eat babies. They would give away baby. The whole orphan thing came from throwing away children. We never had that in Africa. Our orphanage was at 1600. They wouldn't know what that was. Our old folks' home. They wouldn't know what that was. When we do our opening rituals, what we do to our ritual, we do a pledge. We do it in English because that's the language we speak here. Then we do it in Medu Neter. Then we do it in Swahili. And now we do it in the Shanti tree. The same ones, because we're tapping into our culture. And we do it in sign language, because sign language was created in Kemet. We didn't throw away anybody because you couldn't speak or couldn't hear. We didn't throw you away. You still had a gift. You still had gifts. We wanted to tap into that gift. So we created sign language. Come on, when we speak with our hands anyway. Come on, you hear a brother. I see a brother on the telephone. Right? And he's going, look, man, I told you, all this hand expression. The guy can't see you. He's on the phone. But we expressed with our hands. So we created this sign language. In fact, when you speak in the Medu Neter, you got to use your hands. Body language. Your relationship to nature. Okay. So our culture is totally different. And it's not one is bad versus one is good. I spoke at a Hungarian culture center one time, and after I spoke, they brought the food out, and they said, "All right, everybody who got little children, come up first. We feed the babies first, then we'll feed the parents, and then if there's anything left over, we'll get it to the elders." Okay. and it was nothing. That's culture.
Yeah.
Their attitude was the elders already had theirs. And now we're going to give it to the young people because, listen, in that cold environment, you had to protect the babies first.
Yeah.
So let me I know this is off the subject, but I've got to put, since we're on culture here. So the reason why even among European culture, blondes have more fun. Blondes got more attention because they're the most recessive, even among Europeans. The blue-eyed, blonde-haired blondes were the first ones to die. Their children, the babies, couldn't withstand the cold, couldn't stand the weather. So they treated them extra special so that they would survive, as opposed to the more melanin Europeans with dark hair and dark features. They were the stronger. And even when you look at the Olympics, blue-eyed, blonde-haired blondes don't win no gold medals. Even among the Europeans who win are dark, melanated, the more Mediterranean or dark-headed, more melanin internal Europeans. So I'm just trying to let you know. So what happened now, because of symbolic thought, we forgot symptomatically why they were treating the blondes better.
Yeah.
It was so that they could survive. Now, because we're in a symbolic society, we just think blondes just have more fun because they're pretty. But it really had nothing to do with that. It's just like albinos have a shorter lifespan, even among African albinos and stuff, have a shorter lifespan by 20 or so years than a regular person who is melanin dominated.
Yeah.
You still might have Black parents. If you're albino, that means that you got shortchanged in the melanin department.
So I want to still stay right here real quick for this culture piece, because you're saying
culture. Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying that during the Ice Age, Caucasians went through a certain dynamic, and which then created their culture.
Yes.
So now, because
remember, culture is how you relate to nature and how you survive in nature.
Got it. So being that they related to nature a certain way, and they had lack of sunlight, lack of vegetation, and lack of a lot of things, would you say that's what inspired them to take over, because they pretty much have all the so-called power right now? So is this the way that they gained their power?
Right, because they hoard things. Like when they came to the Caribbeans for the first time and saw these white beaches, and they said, I gotta have it. I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Even if I gotta kill all the people there. See, that's not an African concept. No African nation has went to another country, destroyed their people, enslaved them, and took their stuff.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? No people of color has done this to anybody else on the planet. Only Europeans have done this.
Yeah.
So when the British said the sun never set on the British Empire, it means they was exploiting people all around the globe. That's what that meant. Okay.
Gotcha.
So you understand. And the reason why the United States didn't vote to say that slavery was the greatest crime.
Yeah.
Israel, United States, and Argentina are the only countries that said no. The slavery of African people was not the greatest crime.
Yeah.
And then most of European countries, almost all the European countries abstained. Didn't vote. They were neutral. But 123 countries said it was the greatest crime. So it was passed.
Yeah.
The reason why the Europeans said it wasn't a crime, because they said everything they did was legal. They made slavery legal. They made rape legal. You can do anything you want to your property. Just like you can rape a sheep.
Yeah.
An African woman, then that was just property for you. You know. So when they had the Jim Crow laws, they said that was laws.
Yeah.
When they did gerrymandering, that was a law.
Yeah.
They wasn't breaking. So they just create their own reality and then go by it. I don't care how hideous or how bad it was. So they said they didn't break any law, so they shouldn't have to pay us squat.
Gotcha.
You understand that? Okay. And now the Jews, they voted against it because they don't want to pay nothing back. They were the ones that financed the slave trade. They were the ones that ran the insurance companies. They're the ones that helped finance the ships and the markets and did the slave auctions. So they were saying everything they did was legal, even though it was a hideous crime against humanity.
Yeah.
And so we need to understand. So they were voting among cultural lines. Remember, the Europeans said it's neutral because they all benefited from slavery. Okay, so they tried to stay neutral, and United States probably, and Argentina, and the Jews just outright saying no, we didn't do a crime. We don't owe them nothing, and that wasn't the most hideous thing.
Yeah.
So you see, culture is your medicine. They're trying to protect their cultural identity. So the white folks in America, the reason why they're getting rid of Black studies because they said it makes white children feel bad. Because they don't want to own up to the crimes that they did.
Yeah.
And they don't want their children to feel bad about what they did. So we're just not going to teach it. In fact, not only we're not going to teach it, we're going to transmute it. We're going to change it. There wasn't really slavery. They were indentured servants.
Yeah.
Like we came here on a holiday.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, with all this condemning of books and this and that, it would make us want to kind of dig our heels deeper and know the information, because like they're trying so hard to get rid of it. It's a reason why that's happening. And so we have to know this language. We have to know this information. We have to, these books, whatever's on the banned book list, we need to have those books. And we need to make sure that we're reading these books and we're, passing this information on to our family and kids. Like we have to.
Yeah.
Way out of this.
Hey, Brother Mfundishi Jhutyms, I just want to go back a little bit. I know this is a little off subject as well, but I just want you to add context to it, because I'm sure we have some Christians and some Muslims listening to this. So you said that Christianity and Islam are anti-African. Can you just give some context to that?
The culture
Mhm.
that's being promoted in the religion is not an African culture, is what I'm saying. I know some people try to argue that Christianity was created in Africa, but that's
In
not the
Ethiopia.
Christianity you're learning today.
Okay.
That's not the Christianity you learn. The Christianity you learn today was brought to you by the Europeans through their culture paradigm.
Okay.
Okay, Islam is the Africans might have started it, and some of the first, I think Prophet Muhammad said that Bilal was the first true Muslim. Okay, but that's not the culture being promoted today. We're practicing Arab culture, and the Arabs are in control of that religious nature, that how it's being presented.
Gotcha.
Okay, and so therefore, it's out. The Arab slave trade was worse than the European slave trade. And the European slave trade, maybe 4 out of every 10 died. And the Arab slave trade, 8 out of 10 died. And the men, and most of the men who survived were castrated and made eunuchs. And the women were all raped. You know, that was just natural for the Arab slave. And that took place for over 1,000 years before the Christian slave trade. So I just got to put things in its proper perspective.
Yeah.
So it's Tweedledee versus Tweedledum. And I know many Africans will try to argue, oh no, I'm 10 generations. Yeah, because the Arabs conquered Egypt in 640.
Yeah.
So in 640, Islam got shoved down your throat. You either become a Muslim or die. Oh, you like Amin Ra? Well, you go into him today, or you becoming a Muslim. So some people went to Amin Ra that day. Others got converted to Islam. So the first Moors that traveled across North Africa were all Muslims, Africans who were converted to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Ghana, Songhai, and Mali all fell because of Islam, because of the religion. No outside group of Arabs came and defeated them. Arabs who converted Africans destroyed their own families and their own people.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
So we have to understand that. So yes, the Moors were great, but it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they became innovators and traders and bringers of knowledge, but also became destroyers of their own culture.
Yep. Sounds like the same story.
Remember, it can cut on both sides. You can cut yourself as well as cutting other people.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not just picking on those two. All those religions are anti. All those ism. Some boxes, they put you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And they got you arguing with other people not in the box. How come you have to have 100 and something different divisions of Christianity?
Yeah.
There's over 120 different denominations of Christianity. Why do you need that many denominations?
Mm-hmm.
You got several factions of Islam. Well, and they're not friends of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
It's supposed to be a religion of peace.
Yeah.
I don't see a whole lot of peace there. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Where spirituality, you can't control spirituality. I can't control your relationship with nature. I can't control you being one with the environment. But I can control the religion. Simon says do this, Simon says do that, Simon says do this. If you don't do that, we're killing you. It's against the law if you're a Muslim to marry somebody outside of your religion, or I can kill you. That's the law. I've read in the Jewish Talmud that you can rape your daughter until she's 9 years old, and that's not incest. That's in their holy book. I mean, come on, that's not an African culture. That's not an African culture, you see? So we have to be careful of that. If it's an enemy of African culture, you need to get away from it as far as you can. Yeah. I don't have to badmouth it. I just don't practice it. Remember, you defeat your enemy's culture by practicing your own. But if you're deep in religion, now the religion defines your culture. That's what the whole religion is supposed to do. It's giving the controller a predictability of your behavior. They know what you're going to do because they already put the laws out there for you.
Yeah.
So like I said, some boxes are big. The Buddhist box is bigger than some of the other boxes. Some boxes are bigger than the others, but they all boxes. In fact, said, "Don't worship me." As soon as he died, Buddhism. May Buddha's name be praised. We did the opposite of what Buddha said. Buddha was practicing like a Kemetic spiritual system. Watch what you eat, fast, Be good to your fellow man. Be one in nature. Buddha was teaching that type of stuff. Okay, so we have to understand spirituality is you being in tune with, but you, in order to be in tune with nature, you got to observe nature. And then you imitate the best.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can perfect that skills, and then you survive that. We're the ones that said, so is above, so below.
Yeah.
So we understood the glory of the heavens, and now we were trying to manifest that on the earth. So we're the creators of astronomy and astrology, understanding the heavenly bodies and understanding how the heavenly bodies affect us. We're the ones that talked about the full moon. We're the ones that talked about the phases of the moon and when to plant, when not to plant. That's part of our culture because we observe nature. Remember, you come from a place where you have no farms. You know? And even today, I hear brothers going to a restaurant talking, I want my steak rare. So the blood dripping out. What kind of nonsense is that? That's, you know... And you got the right to do that. My philosophy is that you have the right to be crazy. You can't be crazy on me. Remember, you are in control of your destiny. You know where to go and not to go. So right now, what Wazungu do is almost irrelevant to me. I'm not around them.
Yeah.
My day is not connected with them. I don't make my money from them. I don't need them to survive. And we as an African people are the most resourceful people on the planet with the richest mineral and the greatest continent on the planet. And yes, I agree with my fellow Moors that yes, we are the indigenous people here in America, and this is our land too. So they can't tell us to go home because we were the first people here. You know, but we no longer control these resources. We relinquish that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know, family, make sure that you are liking and sharing this video. You know, so one of the things which I thought was kind of cool was that there was, and I want to, because I see that they are actually in the chat, which I really appreciate. J&J Life Mayat. Now, I don't know if you guys are following them, but you guys got to follow them. Okay. J&J Life Mod. I'm going to actually post it. But it's a podcast with a 9-year-old girl and her grandfather. Okay.
You sure she's 9? You sure she's 9?
No, no. She's like 28 or
exactly.
No. She might be 39.
Yeah.
She's 9 years old. Her name is Rhea Segmet. Okay. And her dad's name is Ra Asar. I mean, I'm sorry. Her grandfather's name is Ra Asar. So they interview all types of people. And they're going to interview you too, Mfundishi. But I want you to look at this clip because we want to start talking about something a little different. So just hold on. I'm going to show this. I'm sorry.
You could assemble and film or document a super crew of 5 beings to help the African village in this country remember our greatness, our economics, and how to move on one accord. Who would your top 5 be and why? Your lineup must include 1 Nataru, 1 ancestor, and 3 living warrior scholars.
I got to go with HAPI at the Netaru, right? As I delve deeper and deeper to what HAPI is and the HAPI movement itself, I realized there's real power and energy behind HAPI. Another one is abundance. There's an abundance there that we need to step into as a people. So HAPI would be the Neter. Ancestor. One of my many favorites is someone who they call Thutmose III, the Jhutyms III. He was such a great strategist, even to the point where his tactics are still studied today by military academies like West Point and other institutions. I would say that Dr. Claude Anderson would be at the top for helping us strategize like economics. I'm gonna go with Mfundishi because when it comes down to learning Medu Neter and just understanding our culture, you know, culture is our medicine. That's one of his taglines, culture is our medicine. And I'm gonna say Dr. Leonard Jeffries. He's one of the most realest African people I've met. You know what I'm saying? Because he truly believes in this. Like it's in his heart. Like he walk and talk. It's so he's that person. He embodies it. And like when you got a cat like that in your 5, the dream team, you know, that's the person you need.
All right. So that's cool. I love that. So, I want to give some more context and shout out again, shout out to this girl. I tell you, you guys have got to be following them because her interviews, her questions, and she started off with Taki. And I've known Taki for a minute now. And not too many things stump him. I mean, like he had to think about some of these questions she was asking, which I thought was beautiful. So one of the things when we start talking about this Medu Neter, okay, and another thing that he said in this interview as to why he chose you, Mfundishi Jhutyms, as to one of the top 5, that you've given like a lot of like when people who have studied the Medu Neter, some people feel like it's not practical because we don't speak it when we talk to each other, all the time, and this is that. But this is the thing. There's an example that you've given, Mfundishi Jhutyms, about the word wife. Okay, and you and I'm getting this from the interview that Taki did with J&J Life Mod. Okay. And he says that we're talking, that the word for wife in the Medu Neter is Hamet. And when you draw Hamet, in the Medu Neter, it's replicated as a well. Okay, as a well. Yep. So now when you look at that and the understanding where people were at that time, I mean, they lived virtually in a desert. And that will make that'll make you understand the importance of a well. Wow. Now, when you attach that with the importance of your wife to who you are, that's a powerful connection. And the only way you learn that is through the language. So there's something that's super important that when we start talking about in terms of getting more people interested in learning the Medu Neter, is understanding the vitality and the importance of that. Mm-hmm. And it's because that I'm so sorry. And so in learning, the Medu Neter, there's just more reasons it's more reasons than us just like, oh, we need to be able to speak it. But there's just reasons that are more deeper and more connected to our cultural awareness and ourselves. So, talk to us a little bit about, why you started studying Medu Neter and just, why do you think we should know it?
Okay. So let me just talk about what you just said, and then I'll go back and tell you why.
Okay.
The word for wife is Hemet.
Hemet.
Yeah. So, and they show a well of water. It's a deep well of water, and you're in a desert. So they're saying a man without water is destined to die. Mm-hmm. So a man who is not attached to a female, a wife, a connection, a partner, mm-hmm. is barren. And so in order to survive, he needs a well of water. So it shows this deep connection. And even the word, we don't have a word for queen, it's the Hemet Nesut Weret. That's the great royal well of water. Okay? So that's how the country survives. The Hemet Nesut Weret is the great royal well of water that feeds the people. And that's why in every African village there's Big Mama, the grandma. She is the well of water. She is the substance of which they can live by. So the king has to consult her to make all decisions. So that was an African way. That's not a European way. That's not even an Asiatic way. That's an African and Black people's way. Okay, so I just want to make that connection to culture. So when I was in college, I thought that learning our history was why the denial of knowing our history was why we were so backwards. I think if we knew our history, we would be fine. But then we start learning our history and we were still backwards. So then I said, okay, it's got to be more than history. It's got to be, we got to learn the culture that goes with the history. That formulates why we even did things like that. And then as we start learning the culture, I realized that some people were learning the culture superficially and were still backwards. So now I said, okay, we need our history, our culture, and now we got to have spirituality. And the only way to learn your spirituality is your relationship to nature, and that's through language. So you lose your language, you lose your culture, you use your spirituality, you lose your history. In fact, even in ancient Kemet, there's a dialect during the Middle Kingdom, the middle period, where one of the high priests asks the high priest Daggy. He says, in Persia, it used to be all black, and now they're infiltrated with Asiatics. And the guy said, yeah, they lost their language, they lost their culture, they died. So I began to think. So I said, oh, wow. So something has to help me reconnect with culture, and it has to be language. And obviously it can't be the English language. I'm looking at Africa, and I could speak Swahili, but the Swahili people crazy. So just learning Swahili ain't the answer. Many Africans on the continent still speak their language, and they still backwards and crazy. So I says, when you separate from the spirit, so that's symptomatically how the language was formed. So the Medu Neter, a Bantu language, one of the oldest languages, it's in written form, is attaching you to why words came into existence. Remember, words are spells. Remember, we opened up with that. Words are spells, they're vibrations, they're energy. So I said, whoa. So I just can't learn just any African language. I can learn some Ashanti Tree, some Swahili, some Ga, some Hausa, different languages, but that's not spiritually necessarily connected me. The Medu Neter is connected to nature. When I was teaching Medu Neter to Ashanti Tree, the Ashanti people didn't know why their word meant what it meant.
Yeah.
My mama said it was like this, my papa said it was like this, so I said it.
Yeah.
So you just learned it symbolically. And I used the word abroni. Abroni in Ashanti Tree means destroyer or enslaver. Today they think it just means white man or foreigner, because the original people was attaching it to these people's actions. They destroyed the land, destroyed the culture, enslaved the people. These people are destroyers. They are brony. Today, they just think it just means white man, the color, or any foreigner. In fact, my student was upset because when he was speaking some Swahili, but it looked like this textbook Swahili. So a little black girl said, "Oh, he's an brony." He was like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not a Wasungu. I'm not a Wazungu, I'm an African, my Swahili a little rough. That's all. Yeah. So they don't know the roots. So I wanted to go, just like learning etymology. Some of the Moors were telling you, if you really want to know this language that we're speaking, you need to learn the etymology.
Yeah.
That's why I don't say good morning. I ain't morning nothing. Grand rising. I exalt the sun. Stuff of that nature,
Wait, but Mfundishi, let me just say this. I said good morning on a bus in Ghana, and I think the whole bus must have started yelling at me. And I just made a mistake. And I was like, I said good morning. And they was like, what? No. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Grand Rising. Grand Rising, kings and queens.
Even though we're using their language, we still have to use our culture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we take their language, but we have to use our culture, because remember, culture is your medicine. So they didn't want you to be sick. They didn't want you going around mourning nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
So you understand it. So now the Medu Neter I'm looking at all these African languages, and Africans don't know the etymology of where their words come from. The Medu Neter shows you, when I teach symptomatic thought, it shows you why they chose that word.
So wait, so let me I'm sorry to cut you. Let me just say this, just for the people that aren't aware of what the Medu Neter is. Just explain to them what the Medu Neter is, and what it consists of, what makes up the script, so that way you can explain to them the symptomatic thought versus the symbolic thought.
Right. All right. The Medu Neter means the divine words of the Creator. And remember, you you are part of that creation. You
Yeah.
are the creator. So, but it's divine words of an elder on behalf of the creator. Understanding that the elder has experienced more, has a better relationship with nature than the newborn or the young people.
Yeah.
So it's divine words of the creator, and that was Europeans call hieroglyphics. And hieroglyphics in Greek means sacred writing, like there's some unsacred writing. Okay, all right. So that's their understanding. They knew it was sacred. So let me just say this: even the Europeans looked at this, didn't know what it was, but they said this is sacred knowledge because it's connecting them to nature.
Yeah.
See, so even though they didn't know what it was, they knew it was sacred. So hieroglyphics means sacred writing. Okay, so I just need you to understand that. All right. So now, that's the language that the ancient Kemet, people of Kemet, who they called Egyptians, that's the language they wrote, a pictorial language. But it's not alphabetically.
Yeah.
It's based on an alphabet, a biliterals, and triliterals. So one symbol can be a whole word, a whole sound. Like I can put like in Shanti tree, you had a Sankofa bird that means Sankofa in Ghana. And Sankofa is a symbol, one symbol, but it means to go back and fetch what you have lost and bring it to the future.
Yeah.
You see, Europeans don't have words like that. We got one symbol, one sound, and it means a whole thing. So that's the way the African language was. Like when they said Haru meant higher consciousness, Haru was the word for the pelican falcon. The pelican falcon is the fastest creature on the planet Earth. He can swoop down 280 miles per hour on his prey. When every creature, when there's a storm, seeks shelter. The pelican falcon can fly above the storm, above the clouds. Okay, so he can go 20, 40 meters under the water and catch a fish in his talons. And when he comes out of the water, he's dry because his wings, his feathers is water repellent. He's aerodynamic. He's water repellent. He has eyesight. He can see 2 miles ahead of himself. So he can see you before you can see yourself coming. So the king wanted you to think that I'm as powerful as this falcon who has no rivalry in the sky. Even the great eagle, which is one of the most vicious fighters in the sky, the falcon can fly above him. The eagle tries to follow him and passes out because he can't breathe no more from oxygen. And the falcon is still going because the way his mouth and beak is designed is he can bring in oxygen even at a higher level. Okay, all right. Some bird, a crow jumped on the falcon's back and the falcon just flew high until the crow couldn't breathe no more and fell off and died. Okay, all right. I'm just showing you how powerful. So the king wanted you to think that. So see, that's symptomatic thinking. We understood nature. So we said this is higher consciousness. Haru is symbolic of the king. Okay, Haru Imaketi is protection of no upper, east and west. You know, so we associated this with things we saw in nature. So when I began to look at that, I said, I need to get into this language deeper because now it's going to teach me how to be the best version of myself. And my students will tell you when they learn hieroglyphics from somebody else and then they learn Medu Neter from me, it's like night and day. They're learning our language through a European eyes. I'm trying to learn our language and teach our language through an African cultural eyes and a spiritual connection. They say the gods of Egypt. No, they're the Netcharu, the principles and laws of nature. God is dog backwards. We don't want to use that word. That's Gothic to describe our divinity. You know, so the closer we become, see, it's not just how you talk. You got to live it. You got to spiritual. So when you're learning this language, you're learning the best of nature. I'm having respect for all creatures.
Yeah.
I don't eat them. I realize that I'm here to learn from them. You know? So I don't eat anything that had eyes or parents. You know? We live off the vegetation, you know. And animals that eat animals don't eat animals that eat other animals.
Say that
Animals
again?
Eat other animals eat herbivores. They eat animals who only eat vegetables.
Okay. All right.
in general. Like lions not running around trying to just eat other lions. Now they will kill another animal if ain't nothing else around. But basically, they only eat animals that eat the grass, the herbs, the vegetables, the things of that nature. So understanding nature, see, when we're looking at the Medu Neter, every animal they used was teaching them something. So now I got this great respect for all these animals I see here. Why are there more bird symbols than any other symbols? Because you're in the middle of the desert. The only way birds can get water was to fly to the HAPI River. And so the greatest bird observers were these priests along the HAPI River. So now they understood the characteristics of the birds. They understood that no matter how small this bird is, it might be able to defeat a powerful animal by the way it fights. So maybe I need to learn how to fight like this bird.
Yeah.
So I can defeat a more powerful animal.
Yeah.
A more powerful being than me. So might and strength has nothing to do with what the outcome is going to be. It's how I utilize what I got.
Yeah.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? So, so this is happening. I can't learn this from learning French. I know we think French is all sexy. That's because it's the program. We've been programmed that.
Yeah.
Oui, madame. No. That's only sexy because you've been programmed that is sexy. I know there used to be a cartoon where this skunk used to speak French. We've been programmed that French was sexy. No, there's nothing sexier than the African languages, but we've been programmed out of that. So the Medu, I had the honor of studying with Dr. Jacob Crothers and founding of the Kemetic Institute in Chicago. And so through Jacob Crothers, he was in touch with Sheikh Anta Diop in Senegal, who was one of our greatest minds during this time period. And Diop told my teacher that if you're not learning Medu Neter, then you ain't even serious about recapturing African culture. In fact, he said, if you don't learn Medu Neter, you're a coward.
Damn.
Yeah, he got real strong with it. So Dr. Jacob Brothers dove right in and started learning the Medu Neter. Then Sister Ricchetti was also one of the founding members of the Kemetic Institute. So we sent Sister Ricchetti to the Oriental Institute to learn hieroglyphics. That's what it was called at the time, hieroglyphics. And then she, they brought it back. No, it's Medu Neter. So she learned it, and then a couple other people began to learn it, and then everybody within the Kemetic Institute started learning the Medu Neter. So I studied under Sister Ricchetti Amen. So she was my teacher. She even taught at City College. Dr. Jeffries then brought her into City College, and she was even teaching classes at City College. So I learned from Sister Ricchetti Amen the Medu Neter. And the beautiful thing is that Sister Ricchetti was a spiritual priestess. So I learned the respect of spirituality as opposed to just learning it as an academic language of hieroglyphics. Because if you just learn hieroglyphics, you're not learning the culture.
Yeah.
Languages are supposed to express the culture. I take people to the Metropolitan Museum and I showed on the board, they got what each letter means. So I show them my ankh, and they say an ankh is a sandal scrap. I said, so if ankh is a sandal scrap, what does it got to do with life and living? So how you going to know what it means when you don't even know what it is?
Yeah.
So the idea is to know, like we have Kepper, the dung beetle, means to come into being, to come forth, to regenerate, to start new. And now if you understand the dung beetle that rolls the dung of an animal, and first of all, it cleans the land. It drills a hole in the ground, causing irrigation so the water can sink in. It buries the dung in the ground. That's called fertilization. It puts its eggs, its larvae inside of the dung, and then it eats its way out towards the sun. And it always rolls. It's the only creature that make a perfect spear with his legs. And he's always rolling the dung towards the sun, towards Ra. So that was, they looked at it as moving towards light, always moving towards light. And then the larva, creating life, coming into being, the larva eats his way out. So all of these aspects just from observing the dung beetle. Now watch this here. The strongest creature on the planet Earth in proportion to its size is the dung beetle. It can lift 1,150 times its own weight.
Wow.
Can you imagine if you could lift 1,000 sometimes your weight?
Yeah, yeah,
And you running down the street and you never get tired.
yeah,
You know, a SWAT team would come out and shoot you because
yeah.
you would be unhuman, unnatural. Okay, but I'm just trying to show you. So this was the keen when I said observing nature, you see how finite that was?
Yeah.
You might have had a group of priests. That was their job. They studied every insect they knew. The ant is the third strongest creature on the planet. And then the rhino beetle is the second. Then you get to the elephant, the whale, and all of those other great large mammoth animals. But we understood nature that refined. We studied it. If you want to know how to survive in the rainforest, then early man had to observe the animals who were doing the best there.
Mm.
What animals are flourishing? Oh, I want to imitate that. I want to be like a leopard. Why does the high priest wear the leopard skin instead of the lion skin?
Is it fast?
The leopard is really the king. The leopard hunts in the jungle. He hunts in the savannah. He hunts in the desert. He hunts in the rainforest. And he's one of the smartest. And he has one of the strongest bites. He can jump in the water and kill a crocodile. Bite him in the brain and crush his brain. And drag the crocodile out of the water. Lions ain't doing that. Lions like, come on out. I deal with you. You come out here. I ain't jumping in there after you.
Yeah.
So the high priest wore the leopard skin. Now watch this. In South America, the high priest wore the jaguar skin that looks like the leopard skin. You think that was a coincidence? No, because the first priests in civilization here in the Americas were blacks from Africa.
Yeah. So can you tie in the Medu Neter with, because it's always going to be people that are going to be like, well, how is the Medu Neter going to help me put food on my table? So can you tie in the Medu Neter, learning the Medu Neter, how it can increase your wealth, same wealth we were talking about previously?
Remember I said wealth had to do with higher consciousness.
Yes.
And being more in tune with spiritual, understanding how to. I can say this, that anything that's going to teach you how to be a better version of yourself is going to teach you wealth. Medu Neter is going to teach you that you are divine. When we use the preposition in versus is to or for a thing or a place. In is to something divine, like a nature or people or kemetu, black people. So we consider ourselves divine like the Neteru. You see that? English doesn't. In English, watch this and tell me, have you heard this before? You mess up and do something stupid and you go, oh, I'm only human.
Yes.
Like you're supposed to mess up because you're human.
Yeah.
You see, that's the European. I was at Essex County College. I was a professor there. And I was in the teacher's lounge. And I was sitting at the table with two European professors. I usually would eat with the students. But this day, I was up there. So I just said, I'll eat in the teacher's lounge. And these two European teachers were there. And one European male teacher said to the other one, he said, life's a bitch and then you die. I said, whoa, that's your perspective on life and you teaching our kids? I never ate in the teacher's lounge again. Because that's a Wazungu perspective of life.
Yeah.
The Medu Neter is teaching you that life is divine.
Yeah.
Life is divine. And you are a divine being. Remember, we are divine spiritual beings having a divine human experience. And don't leave the word divine out.
Yeah.
So the Medu Neter tells us we're divine beings. So in terms of your self-worth, you know what that does to a person's self-image?
Yeah.
Remember, you speaking to your water. So now your water is high, vibrating on a very high octave. So that's going to make you have better health. It's going to make you have more quantitative and analytical thinking. It's going to help you be able to harness the energy around you. And if you harness the energy around you, you become more wealthy.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, if I was a colonizer, I now understand. I would cut you off from your language.
Yes, that's the first thing they did. They did.
Yeah.
In fact, in Medu Neter, if you spoke your language, they would cut your tongue out. Use you as an example. Kill you, cut your tongue out, make sure you didn't say it to nobody else. They want to cut you, they want to disconnect you from your language.
Yeah. So you know what? We got like mad questions up in this chat to you, Mfundishi. And usually Hassan and I, we just act like the chat don't exist when it comes to questions. Because we was like we try to get our questions answered. But let me I wanna touch on some. So there's a question right here about the relationship between Medu Neter and Kiswahili.
Yes.
Like what is the connection between Medu Neter and
both of them are Bantu languages.
Mhm.
Both of them are Bantu languages. That means they are original languages of the people of the interior of Africa. So Medu Neter, in fact, like if I say the word Njema, which means good or whatever, that same word almost in Kiswahili, it means good. We have the word pa that means to fly. In Swahili, pa means to fly. You know, see, there's just words that share. So Medu Neter is a Bantu root language. So all these Bantu speaking people need to be connected back in, because remember, a lot of these Bantu speaking people don't know why the word means what it means. In fact, me and my students were discussing yesterday and today that in the Medu Neter, there's probably clicks. That click stuff that's in there. But because we broke the language down so that Europeans could understand it, so we learned the Medu Neter from Coptic, the last version of the Medu Neter. But that was so that Europeans, they couldn't say the click sounds and all of that. So we are now learning it the way Europeans learned it.
We had to dummy it down for them.
Right. So we had to dummy it down. So now we don't know what the original sounds are like.
Yeah.
So the idea now is to partner with the African people who still speak these languages. So we have to get with the priests who understand nature. See, but if you only learn your language symbolically, you don't know why that click is like that. So those priests who still understand why the click sounds, what did they represent? Why did they come into creation? Because what anthropologists and stuff have found out is that the older the people, the more sounds they have in their language. So many African languages have over 100 and something sounds. For example, Hawaiian language only got like 18 sounds. That's a very recent language. Most European languages only got 20, 30 something sounds. African languages like the click got hundreds and something sounds.
Wow.
So the older you go back, you have to understand, see, there's no pure one African thing because we migrated around the continent for millions of years before we left. So two Africans are more diverse than you and a European. That's how diverse the African continent, Africans on the continent are. We are the tallest people in the world and the shortest people in the world. We're the darkest people in the world, and we got albinos who are white. So we got everything that exists on the planet exists in the African continent.
Wow. Okay, here's our next question. Are there Medu Neter math systems?
We created math. In fact, the Rhine Papyrus is where they saw geometry, calculus, all of that. The pi, the golden means, that's the golden ratio. That all comes from Kemet in Africa and imitating nature. We understood that a pine cone, a flower, all of that is the so-called Fibonacci code or the golden means, which we created before Fibonacci was an egg. Okay. So we mathematics and science, calculus, all of that was created on the African. They got what they call the Shango bone. They can still look this up, so make sure she's not making this up. The Shango bone is mathematical groupings like multiplication done 30,000 years ago.
Yeah, you know what? I think that was a question that we had that we asked on HAPI Talks before. Yeah, we talked about the Shango bone.
So how far do we think that the Medu Neter dates back as far as usage?
We don't know. We do know that it's probably after the last great flood. Because we don't see, what we see is the writing after the flood about before the flood, but we don't see the writing before the flood. So
when was the great flood?
The earliest cultures, do you remember Spock doing the mind melt?
Yeah.
where he can just tell you what he want by touching your head, or he can read your mind by. We had stuff like that. Even among the people in Australia who did dream time and stuff, they were able to send pathological messages through vibration of their minds. In other words, the hunter is out hunting, and his wife, who's 20 miles away, goes into meditation and say, bring some bread home too, honey. And then when he comes home, we got the bread. Okay.
Yeah.
We were able, the Aborigines are the last people we know of that can do this on a great scale. So everything that your cell phone could do, we used to be able to do in our minds.
Wow.
The further we got away from nature, the further we got away from our culture, we lost those things.
Yeah.
So the Medu Neter is one of the only languages that can begin to pull us back. So, Brother Hassan, just to let you know, I think we created the Medu Neter so that we would never go into the period we did before the flood. In other words, we lost a lot of knowledge. Remember I said, after the fourth dynasty, we couldn't build pyramids no more like that.
Yeah.
We lost the technology. I told you, even after the third dynasty, in the first golden age, we couldn't make bowls and stuff and like we did in the olden period, before Kemet, pre-dynastic.
Yeah.
We lost that technology. So writing allowed us to pass this on from generation to generation. Before, everything was oral. So you had the griot. The griot used to be able to sing your family's history from its very inception all the way up to the present day. And so each family had a griot or an oracle that quote their family. But now, if you killed them, what happened? You just lost them. That's why they say when a great elder dies, it's like a library burns.
Yeah.
But if I can record it, I preserve the library.
Yeah.
So,
and if I even etch it in stone, I immortalize the library.
Yeah.
So some of the early buildings, for example, the Felicia, you've been with me many times when we go inside of the temple at
which temple we be in? We're in all
the Valley Temple of Haru Emaketi.
Oh yes,
where there's no writing and all the corners are in a circle.
Yes.
That's pre-dynastic. So there was no writing there. And the Wasarian behind the Temple of Seti, when it's in the water, that's built in an aquifer. It's built on top of water, down 50 meters down in the ground. What kind of we can't do that today? So that's lost technology, So and there's no writing on the walls down there.
Wow.
So I think we began to write, Brother Hassan, so that we would not lose this information that our ancestors had kept. Just in case you killed the griots or the griots die off before they get a chance to train somebody else, this knowledge would be recorded.
Got it. Okay.
But remember, all around the planet, we're the first people to write.
Yeah.
Black people and African people are the first people to record writing.
And so, family, when I first really got started working with HAPI years ago, and one of the things I was able to do was take a class with Mfundishi Jhutyms, and you talk about just somebody turned on the lights. It's like somebody just turned on the lights, and one of the I think it's like almost a foundation for us knowing who we are is to really study the language. And, thing about Mfundishi is that he makes it very easy. He has a class, actually it's starting, I think in May. Your class starts in May, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you the cool thing is that he actually has something special. If you're watching HAPI, you get something special. And Mfundishi, I'll let you tell everybody what they get. And that's if they sign up. Because listen, he has, and all of us have taken this class. Well, I know Taki has taken way more classes than me. He used to take it with Dr. Rosalind Jeffries and Mfundishi Jhutyms at Dr. J's house. So he's been studying for a very long time. And Hassan, have you taken a Medu Neter class yet?
No, but I'm gonna definitely take it though.
What you doing? What you doing over there? Listen, family. So Zion's going to take it, but if you can tell everybody what they get if they sign up, and talk to us about your classes.
So starting May 3rd is the beginning of the classes. So classes are on Sunday and Monday. The beginner classes is on a Monday evening. So they can take Medu Neter 1. The beginner class is on a Monday evening at 6 o'clock. And that's every Monday for 4 months. And then I teach a class, and then people who've had Medu Neter 2 and 3 and want advance, they take it on a Sunday. So my students who've been with me for a while, they continue on a Sunday at 6 o'clock Sunday. So the intermediate and advanced classes on Sunday, the beginner classes on Monday night. Then I teach Mfundishi Jhutyms and the Spirit of the Magi by 2 books, 1 and 2. Book 1, that's the beginner book, is on Monday again. So my beginner classes are on Monday. So that's at 8 o'clock. And let me tell you the difference. All right, so we just talked about what the Medu Neter does. The Medu Neter puts you in touch with your ancient culture, your ancient language, and puts you back into your African mind. And remember, it teaches you the appreciation of spirit. It teaches you the appreciation of energy and vibration. Then you understand how powerful your energy and vibration is. Then from there, now you can rebuild ourselves, rebuild your family, rebuild your. You'll look at my daughter who took all my classes of Medu Neter. Now she's teaching my classes all on crystallology. That's the mineral domain. And she's become better than I am. She's dynamic in that.
Yeah, she ain't no joke.
I took her to the symptomatic process, not symbolic, symptomatic process. We self-educated. I'm the one who certified her. Well, I didn't have Europeans certify her, even though she has a master's in anthropology, cultural anthropology. You know, she re-educated her, and I'm the one who sanctioned her. And she's, like I said, now she's better than I am in teaching the crystallology. And she has now she's put out her 4th book.
Yeah, let's just
crystal healing.
Yeah, let's just
inside of the HAPI newsletter now. She's doing the crystal.
Yeah, I was about to say she got like a lot of stuff she's doing. She has these magical cards. I call them the magical cards of Zawena. Them cards, those affirmation cards, are so dope. She has a plethora.
Just extremely proud of her. My son is a master chef, and so he goes into a restaurant and changes their menu. You know, just understanding. But again, what I did was I found out what their gifts were, and we helped them perfect it. So now they're giving their gift to the world. Yeah, that's what every child is supposed to be able to do. Parents are supposed to help them perfect their gift. First, you got to find out what their gifts are. Find out what. So that means you got to expose them to a lot of things. Expose them to the arts. Expose them to literature. Expose them to music. Expose them to sports. Expose them to all of these things so you can find out what's their niche. Once you find out their niche, then you help them perfect it.
Yeah.
And then hopefully they'll give it back to the world. See, what happens now is that Europeans get their best and they get our best. Every black child that does perfect on the SATs and stuff like that, all the Ivy League schools give them a scholarship. And then all the multi-million dollar corporations is ready to hire them. So we lose, they get our best and they get their best.
Yeah.
That's a cultural drain. So instead of getting better, you get worse. So that's why, guess what? This generation of black youth in America is the first group that knows less than their parents. This is the first generation since we've been here in North America where a generation knows less than their parents.
So is there a prerequisite to?
No, the prerequisite is the sincere idea that you want to learn. I don't care. You don't have to know no languages. In fact, if you speak English bad, that's good because English is backwards. Okay. So if you flunk English, you probably get an A in Medu Neter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because
different thinking. Yeah. And you know what, family? You got to be ready to work when you're in this class because you got to do things with your right hand, with your left hand. Like this is really the class is nice because Mfundishi Jhutyms is really putting you into the culture. He's really connecting culture to you, and so you start. I mean, I'm telling you, listen, I took 3 classes and listen, Hassan, I thought I was an Egyptologist after 3 classes. I was like, oh, da 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 da. I only knew like 2 symbols, but it didn't mean nothing. It was like, because that's the pride that he's putting inside of you. Family. Yeah, this is a really good opportunity to get in this class with Mfundishi Jhutyms. So Mfundishi Jhutyms,
we do have a special. We have a special.
Yeah, a little special. You always like a little special. Tell us about the special.
There's 2 perks. Okay, the class is $200 a month for 4 months. That's an $800 for the whole semester. Mm-hmm. But if you pay one time, it's only $700. So you should save $100 by paying upfront. But even if you pay this $200 each class for each month, and you sign up within the next 3 days, then you get some free perks.
Ooh, we like free perks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will send you. You automatically get the book on An African Answer: A Key to Global Production. So that's something that HAPI push out. The whole global economic thing. Yeah, so you get a free booklet like that. If you sign up within the 3 days for the Medu Neter class, or before the Magi book, we give you a free book.
Oh,
the Magi. That's like a $25 book. Okay. Nice. So, and if you already have the book, then you can just ask for the other book like that. All right. So whether you sign up for the Medu Neter class but you only got 3 days. So
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
That's Wednesday by 12 o'clock. You got to sign up. So that means you put your $200 down and you sign up. So you can see, this is my webpage she has on here. So you go to, if you look at the top of the page, Felicia, can you use your marker and go up there where it says, where it says join. So you hit join, and then you go all the way down to the bottom, right there. And if you're in Medu Neter 1, 2, or 3, it doesn't matter. It's $200 per month right there. Or you can just pay everything and it'd be $700. If you're in the Medu Neter class, you just go to this one and you put your $200 down. Or if you're paying for everything, you can pay $700 or the $200 a month. So this is how you register. So I have one more perk. This is the 3rd perk. So remember, you get these perks, you got it within 3 days.
This is nice.
The next perk was last semester. What I did, some people wanted to take both classes, the Medu Neter, because that's teaching you the culture, the rites of passage, and they wanted to take the Medu Hotep class, but they couldn't afford $400 every month. So what I said, if you take both classes, the second class is just $50 a month. So for $250,
wow,
you get both classes. So I'm saving you $150 a month. Because that means, you heard that expression, when the student is ready, the master appears.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm here for those who are ready.
Nice.
And I want to make sure that I don't use economics as an excuse of why you can't do it.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you're taking the people, my students who did this said it enhanced their knowledge of learning about the culture because they were learning the language simultaneously. So as they're reading about Medu Neter and stuff that are happening here, they can understand why, because they were understanding the language at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope. Wow. Mfundishi Jhutyms, that's good.
Both classes. Wow. $200, per semester, and if you do it within 3 days, you get the perks. You get the book, the free books.
So the 3 days, family, for people who are not watching us live, the 3 days. So this would expire on Wednesday, April the 8th at like 12 o'clock midnight. So listen, family, I'm going to put this, I'm putting the actual link into the chat so that everyone can just go right here. It's actually mfundishijhutyms.com/join. And then it takes you right here to this page. But I'm going to also put this in the chat so that people can just, this is a good deal. So if you sign up for both, you get, not only are you getting a free book, you get free books and you get $150 off.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good deal.
So how would you know which class, as far as the Medu Neter class, that you should take? You know, whether it was
Oh,
beginning.
and actually, if you're just taking it, starting it, you take class 1.
Yeah, you would be in 1, Hassan. Hassan
Okay,
Williams.
You take
Write
class
it-
1.
write it
That's
down.
Monday night.
Write it
So
down,
even
please.
if you got some experience of understanding culture, the language is still different. You just take class 1.
Got you. Okay.
You've already had Medu Neter, then you take, you know, 2 or 3. Okay.
All right. All right.
But if you, go into, so all the beginner classes, whether it's the Mfundishi Jhutyms or the spiritual, it's on a Monday night.
Okay.
The intermediate people who've already had my classes come in on Sunday night.
All right.
Yo, this is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with
And people like you, Hassan, when they come into class, you learn even faster because you got some background already. You've been to Kemet a couple of times. You
Yes.
understand some of the culture. So, and this is something that happens in my class, and Felicia will tell you, is that I have students teaching students, because as we're answering questions, there's some people got deep knowledge. You know, they might be a electrical engineer or a physicist, and they taking this class and they're bringing their knowledge into this class. Oh yeah, you know, in my job we did so and so, and everybody's learning from this. I'm learning. I'm taking notes from my students sometimes.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's
Yeah,
a
let me
real
tell you.
especially in our Mfundishi Jhutyms class, the experience, because as we go from chapter to chapter, everybody's reading it, and also you get the vocal. What do I want to say? You get the
like the auditory.
the audio book, right? So you
Yeah.
get the audio of each chapter so that you can listen to it. But I encourage people to read it too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so everybody, because of their living experience, experiences the chapter differently. So when the different students talk about how they answered that question, you want to know why. So if I ask somebody, who was your favorite character? And sometimes I would get 5 different answers.
Yeah.
So I want to know, okay, you chose this person, why? And then they tell, you know, other people say, oh yeah, I didn't get that. Why did you do? You know, so that's what happens when we're doing this book, chapter by chapter. You know, you get a chance to get, because if you read the book only one time, you can't get everything. I wrote the book on 3 or 4 levels.
Wow.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
the average person, they read it once, they only got half the book. All they know, it was a great story. Now you read it twice and you go, wow, I didn't get that. I didn't know all this proverbs and folklore was in there. Then you read it the 3rd time, you go, wait a minute, he got metaphysics and all of this stuff up in here. I didn't see that before. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Wait, hold
also,
on, Fee, real quick. I don't know if you mentioned this, but is it online or is it in person?
It's in line. It's online.
Oh,
But I
okay.
do give people, like right now, I'm inside of our culture center, the Harlem International Museum of Black Culture and African Art, okay, and African culture. So you can come and take the class here, or you can just go online and take the class. Once you sign up and everything, I give you the Zoom number. So it's a Zoom class.
Okay, got it.
So I got students from South Africa, students from Tanzania, students from Ghana. So you can be students from the UK, and all around the country. So, you know, students from Arizona, California. So it doesn't matter where you're at, you can take the Medu Neter class.
wow, that's
Nice.
dope.
So it's via Zoom. But if you happen to be in the New York area, you want to come in person and look at my face while I'm teaching it, you can do that.
Yeah, I came and looked at your face while you were teaching it, because it was myself and Waleed. We had a good time. Man,
Yeah, Waleed and them, they used to come in. I remember when Brother Waleed started really getting the Medu Neter really good. And I got Medu Neter on the walls in here.
yeah.
And class is over, and they still reading names. I'm like, listen, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
They get all excited, reading all the names off the walls and everything.
Yeah, even when we went to Kemet, he was the same way. You know, I was like, well, what's this? I mean, he's breaking it down. I was like, okay.
Nice.
So yeah, so family, wow, this is such a good deal.
Now, the last thing I want to say is that for the Medu Neter class, you need this book, Spiritual Warriors and Healers. So you can order it online, or you can just go to YouTube or Amazon. Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, they can go on Amazon and order it, or they can order it off my line. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because you have a new edition now, right? You have
I have a new edition. You have to make sure you get a new edition. And people are taking the Medu Neter class. Naturally, you need this book, Medu Neter, and you can see volume 2 is the blue book on here. So volume 2 is the blue book. Volume 1 is the black book.
Okay. So family.
And I have the flashcards. I have biliterals and triliteral flashcards that help you with the alphabet. Remember, you use the flashcards just like you did when you were in kindergarten, learning your alphabet, learning biliterals. So all of that's available. So biliterals and triliterals.
Nice.
So we believe that anything that you're doing, you should be able to develop it. Yeah, so let's lift that up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
You see so the biliterals and the you can't buy all 3 because we're out of the alphabet. We'll have you creating the alphabet one in class. But the biliterals and the triliterals you need to know. We also have the map. Go back down, Felicia. Go back up, brother. The green, we have the map. So we have the most, as far as our knowledge, we have the best map of ancient Egypt that exists in the world today. All the Medu Neter names, all the Neter room that are associated with it, each of the 42 districts, the kings that were associated with it, and even the words for the HAPI River, the words for Abyssimbel, the words for the Red Sea. We got all of that in the Medu Neter, and we use that in the book for Menchu Hotep. We use that map in the book. But you can buy that so that you can, if you're a teacher, you want this map in your house. If you're a teacher, you want this map on the wall in your school. Or you want it at home so you can teach your own students. Okay, so that's also available. We, just the way HAPI teaches, we teach that anything that's important to your culture, you need to be able to develop it and create it and be owner of it. So all those things that we need in the class, we've created ourselves as part of the paraphernalia that we sell. So I think I've covered just about everything, Felicia. So again, they got to Wednesday night, sign up for both classes or one or the other, and come have some fun expanding your mind. And all my advanced students have become teachers now. Wow. So I got students who are teaching remedial. I got teachers who are students who are teaching Swahili. I got students who are opening up their own center. I got students who are opening up their own shrine, because now they got a very, it's like going through your initiation in the Kemetic spiritual system.
Yeah.
And you're not learning from the Wazungu, you're learning from our ancestors. I'm just a facilitator.
Now, you muted, Fee. You muted.
No, so I like that. That's a good job, Mfundishi Jhutyms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Do you have any closing words? Anything you want to
No, did we answer most of the questions that people had? Any outstanding questions? That's it.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we have a question from Rhea Sekmet. Listen, just get ready. This is a really good question she asked. I'm sorry, let me just find it. And remember, she's 9 years old, and so she is asking this question. Now I can't find it. And also, while I'm looking for this, I want to say peace to Yoel. Yoel is in the chat, and he's from Chicago. He actually has a Black bookstore in Chicago, but he came down with to our Detroit, our first Power and Unity conference in Detroit. So he's in the chat. I haven't seen him in the chat in a long time. All right, here's the question. From a conscious child's perspective, how do us, the children, stay true to our beliefs while navigating a world full of different thoughts and perspectives?
By understanding your culture, your language, and your history, and being in touch with your ancestors. That's in that area. Be in touch with your ancestors, and that's wise ancestors, not just old folks.
Yeah.
Wise ancestors reading their books and constantly read. Study our ancestors, find your gift, and then give it back to the world.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
So
yeah.
I want to say this here. There might be a couple of haters, but I want to say this here. Bees don't waste their time trying to explain to flies that honey is better than shit.
I like that.
Y'all understand what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
know some of y'all are, no, I'm keeping my Christianity. No, I'm keeping my Islam. Bees do not try to explain to flies that honey is better than shit. So I want to leave that. I'm teaching honey. And honey is the only food that never goes bad.
Mm.
Mm.
And the honey is medicinal as well as food for healing, as well as food to help you flourish. So, Dua Neter, Uncle Johnson Neb Neb.
There it is. There it is. There it is. I like what Chad said. Read out loud. Yes. Wow. Well, you know what? I was going to ask you what was your parting words, but I think those are some parting words right there. I think we good. All right.
I just say, live by Ma'at, make Ma'at your standard, and the reward for living by Ma'at is to receive Ma'at. Dua Neter. Uncle Johnson Neb Neb. Dua.
Dua. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you, brother. Appreciate you much.
Yeah, so we'll be in contact, Mfundishi Jhutyms.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to chit chat about some stuff. So thank you for coming on this Sunday.
Been a pleasure. Always been a pleasure.
I'll see you in class.
Okay, my brother. I'll be looking for you, brother, son.
Gotcha.
Listen, we heard it. Look, y'all family, you heard Hassan say he gonna be in class. So next time we probably get on to whenever we get back after he had the first couple class, I swear, man, he's probably gonna come in here. He's probably gonna start looking like Mfundishi. He's gonna have the wings out. He's gonna have, and you know what, family? Actually, somebody asked about your gear, and you know what? I don't know if you guys know, but Mfundishi actually sells clothes, like he sells his outfits. But I will say, Mfundishi Jhutyms, that everyone that gets your stuff, they swear to God that their wings are a tad bit smaller than your wings. They're like, no, it's like because they're looking for the big wings, but you kind of like some like little wings. I don't know how big that is. I'm just saying.
Okay, I might be guilty. I don't know.
All right. Peace, Mfundishi Jhutyms.
Shem Hotep.
All right, peace, brother.
Wow, there it is. Yeah. Wow, you're gonna take the class? That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take it. But I should have been took it. Like I've always said that I wanted to take it, but just prolonging. But like he said, I done been to Kemet a few times, and I still can't read from off the walls.
But you know what, and I tell you, once you start looking at some of these symbols, and then you see how other cultures use our symbols, that's what gets you. Yeah, when you start seeing, you're like, damn, yeah, that's ours. Yeah, and you'll see them, and they'll take parts of ours, like the wave of energy, water. They take it and just put it places. Yep. I tell you, we're the only ones that's not using our stuff to our benefit, because other cultures are definitely 100% up in it.
But it's so dope how the Medu Neter is pictorial, in a lot of ways. And here we are using emojis. Like some people can write an entire paragraph just using emojis.
Yeah. In fact, it's funny you say that. I was just right here looking at Peggy Miller. Right when you said that, I looked, she's used nothing but emojis.
Yeah. Yep.
Right there.
I'm saying.
Yep. Yeah, that's what's up. All right, fam. So before we go, we just want to just talk one more, leave you with this. Our 3 signature experiences and 1 sacred journey. 3 signature experiences, 1 sacred journey. So we, in the month of August, we are traveling to Senegal, Ghana, Togo, and Morocco. And you can do any combination of those 4 countries. So our first signature experience is you can do Senegal, Ghana, and Togo. And that's from August 20th to August 30th. Okay. Or you can do just Senegal and Morocco. And that's from August 25th to September 1st. Or you can do all 4 countries, Senegal, Morocco, Ghana, and Togo. And the cool thing about all 3 of these trips is that we all meet up in Senegal. So and that's where Robin Walker will be, the Black History Man. If you guys don't know him, but you know him when you see him, Robin Walker. He's going to be there in Senegal, and then he's going to travel with us to Morocco. And then also we'll be celebrating my birthday in Senegal, which is cool. This is my first time in Africa, I think, celebrating my birthday, because we usually go after. So yeah, August 27th. So we're going to be partying. So we're going to learn some stuff, party, eat some stuff, party, learn some stuff. Like, we're going to have a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good time. And it's and the trip price is included everything. It's it's all the flights. We leave from if you're going to come with us on the Togo leg, if you're going to, just with the first trip, we fly out of Newark, and then we fly back into the States. Everyone flies back into JFK, and it includes the hotels, the food, entrance fees to everything, all of our guides, buses with air conditioning, okay, and everything. It includes everything. It's really a good trip. So if you can make it happen, family, it's definitely something you want to happen. You want to make happen. And also, peace to I see Tiffany's in the chat. She's coming with us. She's another person, coming back with us. And if you saw the clip, if you guys looked on our clip on IG, you would see that's who I'm dancing with in the beginning is Tiffany. So peace to Tiffany. But yeah, family, you want to make it happen if you can.
Yes. Come out, people. Come enjoy. Come learn. Come pilgrimage, and get your money together. Get right.
Yeah.
Read different packages. Take what's right and exact for your pockets, and just come. Yeah.
Right and exact for your pockets. And family, we have lots of payment plans. We got all types of payment plans. We have some people who are sending money like every other day. Some people who are sending it once a month, twice a month, like however you can work it out, we can work it out with you. So, I like what Mfundishi said, don't let the economics of it stop you from, experience the experience. And so I think that's what he said. But if he didn't, that's what he would say.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, family, definitely make this happen. And also, before we get off of here, J&J Life Mayat. Listen, family, make sure you are following them on YouTube and check out. I put the actual link to their YouTube channel with they interviewed Taki, and it's a really good interview. I was like, yes. She asked some really good questions. Yeah. That Rhea segment, she ain't no joke.
Sharp.
Yeah, no joke. So make sure you are following them. They're part of the family, so we got to make sure that we are supporting. Mm-hmm. All right. You have anything else?
No, that's it. It was a great show. Great show.
Yeah, Mfundishi always gives good energy. I tell you, Mfundishi Jhutyms.
Yeah, always good energy. But family, thank you for staying in tune with us. Thank you for spending your time. We value your time much.
Absolutely.
We definitely value your time. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week. All right?
All right.
Please stay happy.
Stay happy.
Economics and politics are the foundation of human development.
While forming the world's earliest civilizations, Africans also laid the groundwork for the creation of economic systems.
By learning from our history, we gain the strength to empower the present and design the future. Presenting the premier forum for truth, culture, and change. HAPI Talks. Join us as we unlock the secrets to our success.